I want to address a question that has come up quite frequently over the last few months. That question is why a guy that would, from all outward appearances, seem to be a highly desirable catch for a sister, that college educated, established, on point black man, why is it that women pass him by for romance and for marriage? A lot of guys want to know the answer to that question. I've come across many of them the past few years, and I find that most of them are very angry at women and they're very frustrated. Why? Because the pot of gold that they expected to be there at the end of the rainbow of their struggles to achieve success has not showed up. They struggle to get financial stability to own their own home, to get themselves through college and to establish a career. They were expecting a certain reward for that, and it has not come. So since these guys have been rejected by women so much, and they've done everything that they feel like they're, quote, supposed to do, then the problem can't possibly be them. It has to be women. It must be that women don't know how to pick a man, they say. And they shore up their arguments with observations about the high numbers of single black women, educated, established sisters themselves, that choose to be with Ray Ray and Laquan and Lil Man instead of with them. But before I blast these guys and tell them about themselves, I do want to acknowledge that their hearts were certainly in the right place. By going to school and establishing a career and avoiding that miscellaneous stray baby mama daddy situation all over the place, they were doing what they needed to do to make themselves be better men. So for that, I applaud them. However, as these guys moved through this cycle of achievement, they tended to compare themselves with underachieving black men, not to men on their level or to men on the level that they were striving to reach. The end result is that many of these fellas, now that they've achieved this, certain level of success, have transformed into these judgmental, um, pompous, supercilious jerks, basically. And they possess a rather shocking sense of entitlement to women. Now, what I've found is that many of these guys, during their formative years, like high school and college, the teens and early 20s, they didn't get much attention from women. So, they get no trim, and they're angry that the guys that they felt were beneath them got women. They don't understand that. So they're looking at themselves and they're like, okay, I'm what women should want. I'm what women should be looking for in a man. So according to them, women should basically fall in line and sign on to their program without question. Women should submit to them and augment their perfect life, the life they've established for themselves with no input from a woman, with her attention, with her body, and with babies, because that's what he wants. Now, these guys don't really understand why women don't want to be with them and prefer men that may not be so educated and accomplished, and I'm going to tell you why. It's very simple. You are not supplying women with what they need. So you don't understand what women need, rather. Let me explain. You think you know what women need, but in reality, you're telling women what they should need according to your thinking. Well, women don't live their lives according to what you think, dude, nor do they choose mates according to how you think they should. Mate selection for women is based pretty much on instinct, just like it is yours. Guys are turned on by what they see, women somewhat by what we see too, but we go by a lot by what we feel. And this one concept that men don't understand, that relationships for women are not based on logic. They're not based on reason, and they're not based on what makes sense to you. Relationships for women are about what you as a man do and what you say, and how what you do and what you say makes a woman feel. Let me repeat that. Relationships for women are about what the man in their face says and does, and how what that man says and does makes a woman feel. That's it. So, you guys, you pick a woman based on how she looks for the most part, especially when you're young. And guys will date and marry some stupid ass woman just because she's beautiful. And I've seen it. You guys put up with all kinds of major drama just because some woman fulfills your fantasy of how your wife should look. And if she looks that part, your fantasy of the perfect woman, and she sexes you down like a porn star, and she shuts up and lets you be the boss, then you're married and happy for the next 500 years. But in reality, women, especially modern women, need something more than an educated wallet. And that's really, about all you offering. She has her own money. She has an education just like you. So then women are stepping back and they're looking at you and saying, okay, well, what are you going to bring to the relationship? What are you bringing to the partnership that I'm not already supplying for myself? And dudes, if you sit here right now and you can't think of anything, that's the answer to the question about why women are not choosing you. You're not offering her anything. The situation that you face is this: you were so focused on your schooling and your personal development that you forgot that a relationship is made up of two people. You think about what you want in a relationship, what you need, what you think things should be like. And I've never met a single man yet that thinks about what he has to give to a woman in a relationship. Married men rather seem to understand this concept, and I guess that's why they're married. But single men sometimes have a real hard time with understanding that women need time and attention. Women need men to listen to them. Women need men that show respect, and women need love. If you can't supply all of those things for any reason, there's no reason for a woman to be involved in a relationship with you. If you're not capable of providing those things and you're only worried about your program, that is why you were rejected by females. If you're capable of being a provider only of material things, that again is another reason why you were rejected. So, a lot of guys think that professional educated women rather are looking for a man to add to their program instead of the female coming on board and adding herself to yours. So, you guys want to get a degree and a house and cars and money in the bank, and then you want to sit back and say, I have arrived. I'm at 2244. I am the shit drive. Now let me get a woman to complete my picture. And you guys, a lot of people believe that that's how it, quote, should be. But I can't figure out who told you that. Where did you get that from? Where do you think a relationship is all that one-sided? From my perspective, and I talk to a lot of guys from my work on the web and stuff. I interact with a lot of men. And from what I see, men don't really seem to understand the value of intimacy to women because you guys can't see it. It's not tangible. It's not measurable. You can't put it on a scale. You can't hold it in your hand. You can't look at it under a microscope. So you can't really measure it. It's not real to you guys. You can't point to it. You can't brag about it to other guys so they can compare and see who has the biggest intimacy. You know how y'all like to do it. And because you can't drive it, it's not parked in your driveway, you just don't see it. You have no concept of how important it is to women that the man's title of, quote, provider also include providing emotional intimacy and support. Now, a lot of women, as they're growing up, they don't understand this dynamic right off the bat either. I'm not saying that women are born with this understanding. Some will, waste their time messing around with guys that are exciting and fun, but then later they realize that he's a NAM, which is my acronym for a nothing-ass man, so they, get rid of him. Other women are smart enough to avoid NAMs with the pookie behavior and the 5 babies, and they align themselves pretty early in life with an established, educated man that's, on the same page. But what happens a lot to these women is they realize that they're in a relationship or a marriage that's emotionally barren. And, they're just not happy. They're not fulfilled in it. And I'm thinking that's a big contributor to the large number of divorces that are filed by females. these women find out that they're all of that man is often so busy focusing on the things that are important to him that he forgets to share his time and his energy and his emotions with her. So she comes to the realization that a man that's less educated, who's a little less ambitious, who's a little less accomplished, is probably going to be more to her liking because he treats her like she's the prize instead of you dudes who think that you're the prize. And this guy makes time for her. So if you have a woman who's meeting her own ends, she's just as educated as you are, and you're not giving her what she needs as far as time and attention and you know focus and intimacy, then she is going to choose a guy who's less ambitious and less accomplished than you because he meets her needs. So I think what I'm going to do is break this into two parts. So I'm going to break this into two parts right here, pick this up with part two, and we'll continue on with this discussion of why black women that are professional and educated avoid black men and put them on NIGNORE.